This is Dennis Nun, and tonight what we're doing is we're going through a little bit of a tutorial on how to use the Conklin Marketing System. We're also going to be talking about how to do an effective job of following leads that we're getting in from our campaigns that we're running. From what I've been told, the Conklin company, there's really no other organization that's really working effectively with any kind of co-op advertising like we are. And we have the 3 campaigns going, one for FASTRACK that started October 1st of last year. So it's been in effect for a year. The first thing that FASTRACK campaign taught us, though, was that we started out doing what I'd done 20 years ago, running classified ads. We had 30 ads running in different publications around the country to generate FASTRACK leads. And I believe in October, November, December, and January, when we quit those ads, we came up with a total of 2 leads. And so I didn't stutter. It was 2 leads in 4 months, spending a lot of money. And so what I discovered from that, the good takeaway is that we know now that classified advertising doesn't work. Maybe there's some 70 and 80-year-old farmers sitting around reading their magazines and taking a look at their classified ads, but for all intents and purposes, that didn't work. That dog didn't hunt anymore. And so then in December, we started our ag leads, and we started almost immediately doing Facebook leads. Did our contractor one, started it in February. And to date, we have now over 700 leads we've generated, and we've recruited a number of people. It's really hard to get good statistics. I wish we could. I will probably do some additional surveying of people to find out how many. I think I've added 10 new people in the last, since the program started. And the majority of those are from the classifieds that we're doing on, or not classifieds, but on the Facebook ads that we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and pull up here. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to, if I can figure out how to do that. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen with a little PowerPoint that I put together to try to give us something kind of a way to follow this whole process a little bit. So what I'm going to talk about is creating a successful Conklin business of your own with the Conklin Marketing System. And the Conklin Marketing Plan, simply, as I explained to people, is a residual income plan based on building a Conklin distribution network of independent business owners and independent field managers. And, unfortunately, there's not nearly as many people who built successful organizations as Conklin should have. With the quality of our products and the volume of our products and the reputation we have, the business model, really, Ben and Rich, this really hasn't changed since you and I got started in the Conklin business 50 years ago. Our Conklin company sells to one person. In fact, when people ask me, what is Conklin, what do you do? I say, well, really, I'm a research, I work for a research manufacturing and development company that manufactures products, and we're an independent manufacturer's rep for them. What we have, though, in the Conklin business is we have the ability to go out and set up companies and individuals direct with the company, and they'll end up being users or sellers, or less than 5% do move into the management program. And I explain it to people real simply when I'm talking to prospects on the phone as they come in. I say, Conklin doesn't have any district sales managers that are on expense accounts and drive company cars, like, say, Pioneer or Channel or some other seed company. We have our independent field managers, but they're all paid based on a straight commission on the business that they help you as a distributor generate. So the job description of a manager, I've always said, is to recruit, train, and communicate. And obviously, as Ben always says, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, in the Conklin business, you got to recruit, you got to develop an organization, you got to bring human potential together, you got to train them, and you've got to communicate with them on a regular basis. And I think Family 21 as a whole does that better than anybody else in the company. And we want to have an ever growing network of independent business owners is the whole objective. So the first thing I always encourage people to do is define what your goal is in the business. Begin with the end in mind, as Stephen Covey said in his book, 7 Habits. What do you want to achieve through your Conklin business? Why do you want to achieve it? And how are you going to achieve it? Ben, you asked me a question what I call the 5-year question, when Patty and I were looking at the Conklin business, talking to you back in 1974. You said, what if it took you 5 years of just getting by before you started earning $40,000 or $50,000 a year? Would it be worth it? Now, to put this in perspective, I was offered $9,600 a year coming out of college with a BS in agriculture, and I was offered that job to go to work for a large ag co-op, and $40,000 to $50,000 a year was a lot of money back then. So take this, and you could almost add a zero to it. I mean, certainly it'd be $200,000-$300,000 today. And Patty and I answered, yeah, it would be worth it. And I remember Ben saying, well, you know, when I talk about just getting by, I mean, you're putting food on the table and a roof over your head. You're not going into debt, but you're not putting a lot of money away either. And he says, when you stop and think about it, that's all the people up and down your street are doing. And so Patty and I made the decision, we've gotten started in the Conklin business because of that question, Ben. You planted that idea, and we realized that we're going to do whatever Ben tells us to do for the first 5 years. And after that, we'll evaluate if we want to keep doing this. But we came in with a commitment of 5 years based on that question. But then Ben would ask me frequently, he says, who's on your list? And that is, if you were in the Conklin business today, who are the first 10 people you talked about the products or the business opportunity? And so you always had a prospect list. And so interestingly enough, you know, we had a warm list. We had the 3x5 card. Ben always taught me to carry a 3x5 card, and we were always prospecting. Today, things have changed a lot. So Conklin came out a year ago with the CONKLIN Marketing System, and I'm really, really grateful that they did. I'm very grateful that what they did is they didn't try to create it from scratch. They went to a company called Responsive Data out of California, who's put together programs and systems and software like this for multiple companies. And what they basically did is took what they already had formed and developed and refined, and all the experimentation was done, and they basically Conklinized it. And so the first step in the whole process is you go onto the internet and you type in CONKLINMarketingSystem.com. When you do, this is the screen you come up with. And if you were a current member of the Conklin Marketing System, you could click the login. But instead, if you're a first-time person, you click on the Start Your 14-Day Free Trial, click the Get Started button. When you do that, what happens is you go to your enrollment form. And it's $29.95 a month after your free 14-day trial. So you give them a credit card number to cover that. You can cancel anytime in that 2 weeks. You don't have a single dime spent. But I really encourage you, the longer you use it, the more you use it, the more amazing it's going to be to you. So you fill out the enrollment form. One of the next things they do is it'll take you, if you look down the lower right-hand corner of the slide, it says Account Setup Wizard. That's the very first thing it directs you to do once you get into the system, is it tells you to set up your setup wizard. So it populates, I populate with my first name, my last name, my phone number, my email address, the times I'm on Central Time, and then I click those save the changes and I keep going. But it takes literally less than 10 minutes, certainly 5 to 10 minutes to fill that out. What that does is it personalizes your Conklin Marketing System. So anytime an email, anytime a text message, anytime anything goes out from your Conklin Marketing System, it really becomes a digital platform for you to manage your leads and to collect leads. And people will ask me, they'll say, well, does the Conklin Marketing System actually generate leads? And I say, well, no, by itself, it doesn't generate. It's like you've got a fishing pole. You know, will a fishing pole catch you fish? Well, not if you keep it hung up in your garage. You got to get out there and use it. You got to put some bait on the hook and so forth. Well, it's the same way here, basically. What you've got is a tool that makes, it's a whole lot easier to fish with a fishing pole than it is with your bare hands. Same thing true here. It's a lot easier to manage and to collect and follow up on leads with this system. So that's really what it's going to do, is it's going to give you a digital platform for follow-up. And I don't know about you, I'm a lot better at prospecting and recruiting than I am at follow-up. And so a lot of people just fall through the cracks if they're prospects of mine. So that's the second page. Once you've logged in and you're actually set up on the system, this basically shows you your opening screen. Is you're seeing mine here, and what you see down in the lower right-hand corner is the referral program. The way the referral program works is that it creates for you a link. This is my link. It's heartland.conklinamerica.com, and click that join is a link that basically will, if you would email that out to a person in your organization, that will give them the opportunity to click that link, and then you have referred them. If they become a paying member, and if you develop, I think it's 3 paying members, your $29.95 is waived. So it's actually doesn't cost you anything to be a part of the system. I buy a higher level. I have more storage space and everything else. So I have several people I referred, but I still pay a fee monthly because I've got a higher level of service. But at any rate, what you'll see here is your new prospects, interested prospects, qualified prospects, members. And so you can use, when I say members, I'm not going to go through the whole system tonight, but the members means that I've got all my directors in here, and I can send a group text message, and they're all personalized through this system to all of my existing district managers, directors, and so forth, because I've got them entered in here. I've manually done that. But the new prospects is where your new leads come in. So if you're part of one of our co-op campaigns, what we're doing is our FASTRACK and Ag participants each put in $50 a month. That $50 a month is an automatic withdrawal from their credit card. It's set up on PayPal. That money then we use to purchase ads on Facebook. One of the things that's cool about Facebook is that you can target specific geographic areas and people with specific backgrounds and information and profiles. So like, for instance, when we run our FASTRACK leads, we really try to target people involved with livestock, horses, dogs, all cattle, all types of, we have all kinds of qualifiers so that it doesn't pop up, and our ad doesn't pop up in front of everybody, but people that we assume are going to be potentially interested in FASTRACK. Same thing is true in Ag, and we're continually refining not only the wording of our ads, but the placement of our ads and where they're going. So what this does is it lets you, as a person that's a participant in one of our campaigns, basically donate some money to make the ads possible. I've spent several $1,000s in addition to basically get this thing up and running, to work with some consultants to help us get it going. And because I know that it's going to pay for itself in the long run. But here is the key thing. Once you're set up on the computer, you go to your app store, in the case of an Apple, or I think it's Google Play, and you search for the Conklin Marketing System. It tells me here just to open it because I've already got it on my phone, but it basically will give you a description. You notice only one person, I don't know if that's me or somebody else, one person has rated it, but this is the opening screen. Then once I download it, it's a free app, I can now take a look at it. Now, once I open it up now on my phone, what I saw on that home screen, my prospects and so forth, this is what the screen looks like when I open it up on my phone. And so what I'm going to walk through here is some questions. How do I generate leads? Well, there's 2 different ways. We're going to talk a lot more about it in the next presentation next week. But the number one way we're doing it right now is through our online ads. I really believe we can get into that range of 50 to 100 leads every single week. We're getting up there. Last week we had 67, and in those 3 campaigns. And so that's the easy way, is allow us to participate in, be in the co-op, allow us to invest that money in those online ads. Once we get Facebook rolling, we could potentially go to things like LinkedIn and other online platforms, Instagram and so forth, to generate leads as well. How do you know when it comes in, and what do you do next? Well, let me walk you through that. Here's an example. Alex Blackwood, this is exactly the email that I got on the 12th of this month. Alex Blackwood, and she'll be in the business here probably maybe at this week. She's lead number 31, and it says, here's lead number 31. You have this many more leads, and in fact, it's unlimited. You go the rest of it, if you scroll down, you'll see, okay, her name is Alex Blackwood, and there's her email address, there's her phone number. She's from Florida, and she's on Eastern Daylight Time. And she found us on Facebook. So I know that much about her. And it came in, it'll timestamp it. It came in, it should show me someplace. I may not have it on here. Oh, 1742. That's 5:42. Yeah, 5:42 in the morning is when she responded. Here's a short video that I recorded, and I apologize, my video quality is not great, but I think it'll give you an idea, at least, of what my method of follow-up is.
When I get a new lead, like I did the other day with Alex Blackwell, first thing I do is I go to the Conklin Marketing System. I tap on it. It opens up typically to the homepage, and it'll show me that the leads that I've got coming in. I go to my leads. I tap in this case on Alex's name. First thing I look at is the activity stream, because this tells me if that prospect is a FASTRACK prospect, or ag prospect, or roofing prospect. It says here that she enrolled from the FASTRACK co-op campaign. You can see that on the top line there. It tells me additionally that she received her first email that's automated in the system. The first thing that I do when I get a new lead like this is I go up here, and you got the option of sending an email to that person, a text message, or a call. I want to call them as soon as possible, especially within the same hour that they responded to our ad, if at all possible. But what I do instead of, I resist the temptation to do that, and I click on message. Why do I do that? Well, number one, I want to send them a text message and introduce myself and tell them who I am and why I'm calling. We all get a lot of calls that are random calls, spam calls. And so unless I can find that person that just picks up the phone whenever anybody calls, that's not going to happen. So the first thing I do is I go over to my messages, and I've got this saved in my messages file. I've got a message here that says, thanks for connecting with us. Let me see if I can get that copied here. And I copy that entire message. Which says, thanks for connecting with us with Heartland Animal Health, because that's what they saw us on the Facebook page, because it was a FASTRACK lead. Our Facebook advertising, seeking distributors for FASTRACK. I'd like to give you a call this morning, if that's a good time for you. If you aren't available, I'll leave a voicemail to let you know I attempted to reach you. Text me if I'm not able to reach you, and let me know when a better time would be for us to talk. And I give her my name and my phone number. That way she knows that it's somebody that's responding to her request for information. So I copy that. I go back to my Conklin Marketing System. I paste this in there. And I address it with her first name. So I say, Alex. And so she's got that message. I immediately hit the send button. And when that goes to her, then I wait just a few minutes typically, and then I call her. And it's easy to do again from here, because all I need to do is go back to this screen, tap the call button. It's already got her phone number in there. I'm assuming that it's a cell number when I send a text. Sometimes when I send that text, what happens is it kicks back to me and says, this is a landline. And in that case, I have to resort to using an email to do the very same thing. But I will go ahead and send an email, because some people just live on their email. And then what I will do is I'll pull up their phone number and call them and attempt. I really would like to do this within an hour. If not an hour, certainly within a few hours of when they contact us. What I find is that people have ADHD that's digitally induced by all the stuff that they're seeing on the internet. And so that's one of the key things that I'm looking for, is I'm looking for immediate follow-up with them. That's the first key. Second key is that I want to find out a little bit about them. So I say, tell me a little bit about yourself. I ask them for some background. It's just conversation. And as I do that, I find out what their interest is, what their experience is. In this case, if it's FASTRACK, I ask them, are you familiar with the FASTRACK products at all? And so I try to build some rapport with them at that point. And then, and again, it's typically a challenge to get back to people. Even when you call very, very quickly, people don't often respond. Some people never respond. So it's a numbers game. It's a sifting process. At some point, what you do is you follow up with those individuals and you send them additional messages, text messages, and so forth. And I eventually say, if you'd like me to close your file, if you're not interested in conversing about the potential with our products and our company, please let me know so I don't waste your time or mine. And very often I'll get a message back saying, no, I'm very interested. I just have been really busy. And so just be persistent. There's nothing in the world that takes the place of persistence. So that's really the key to the follow-up. But the other thing that I do that's essential in that first interview is I really want them to get started in the Conklin business. I want to get them a distributor number. That could be a preferred customer. That could be a commercial purchaser, which I use extensively with my FASTRACK leads. Most of my FASTRACK leads come on board as commercial purchasers. The commercial purchaser application is one that you find online with Conklin. Take a copy of it, send it over to them, ask them to fill it out. I usually send it over with my information already in their application. They can fill it out. They can take a snapshot of it, send it back to me. I pay the $25 fee because that's what it says on the form, is that the sponsor pays that. And what we're going to be working on the next several weeks are we're going to be working on how to best bring people on board. We're going to try to develop some videos that show people exactly what they need to do in order to be effective, start buying products, start marketing products, start making calls. And so that's the next action that we're going to be taking, is trying to develop that kind of a video series for FASTRACK, for ag products, and for contractors. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how to use it. But 90% of everything you're going to do for follow-up is going to be on the app. I prefer an iPhone by far in my experience, but whatever phone you've got, figure out how to use it, and you can do 90% of everything that you do right here on your phone.
So in the Conklin Solution 3.0, in fact, in the very first edition, we talked about where we find prospects, our existing customers, our warm market list, our referrals, classified advertising, which again, I believe is dead at this point. Trade shows and booths, targeted direct mail, web-based prospecting, combinations of the above are always going to be our primary methods. But I think the real key is what we've learned from this is that classified advertising doesn't work like it used to. Don Benson and Connie Benson came into the Conklin business strictly through a classified ad. And both I and Don have recruited a lot of people off classified advertising. And so I think this replaces that. Kent McSpadden got started, came in contact with Charles through a trade show. But today, I really do believe that the most effective tool we've got is what's right here. So how do I manage my leads? We're going to talk more in some additional videos that I do on how to manage your leads and how to do group texts. Actually, when you set up you can select all the prospects you've ever had that have come through this system. Let's say you got 20 or 30 of them. I can show you how to set up and do an email to all of them, and they'll all look personalized to them. And I find that a lot of times people that have been, stagnant a long time, I've had guys contact me 2 or 3 times off the same ad and still haven't gotten started or done anything. But again, the persistence is the key. So how long do you try follow up? Well, you just keep going until you quit. When they quit, I quit. When they tell me to go away, then I stop. So what do you do with them once they sign up? Well, that's where we're talking about the onboarding and developing a relationship, and talking to them is really key. I've signed up a couple of guys as Conklin business standard growers. Those guys will be coming to Pro Ag programs this winter. I'll have guys coming to the Conklin business seminar that have gotten started, but the majority of them are going to get started, especially in the FASTRACK and the ag, probably as preferred customers or as commercial purchasers. So what's a good lead worth? Great question. But I went back and I calculated one day and I figured out that I make $5 an hour. And this was over a recent year. I make $5 an hour off of Don Benson and his downline organization. That figures out to 8 cents a minute. But that's 8 cents a minute, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So just off Don's organization, we earn, Patty and I earn right at something north of 40,000 a year. I have one distributor that in fact, he never even became a distributor. He was a dealer for me. I have one dealer that the business that he's generated indirectly amounts to $41.37 an hour, 69 cents a minute. I'll let you do the math, but it's, what isn't a lead worth? I mean, it could be worth a lot, but again, you got to sift through a whole bunch of people to find those folks. Because we all know the fortunes in the follow-up. Kent McSpadden has made that statement famous, and he has proven that it's actually true. So that's what I've got for this presentation. Join us next Wednesday, and we'll have another short presentation on specifically how you can run your own Facebook ads on your own Facebook business page. And I'm going to be sending out an invitation to that, and hopefully we'll have better results in getting people on that call. But this recording will be available to everybody to watch. And as we'll do in the future, we'll record all of our Zoom trainings so that we can make them available to people at their convenience and at their leisure. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop the recording. And we'll come back and we'll talk about any questions you might have and some ideas that we can, besides just getting better at Zoom, we can do some other things too.